47 minutes to race number one on this opening Friday of the fall season here at Gulfstream Park West. Beautiful day in Miami Gardens. We are fast, we are firm. Another 8-race program on the docket as we settle in over the next few hours from our respective GPW studios. I'm upstairs, Ronnie downstairs, right outside the paddock. And it's good to have you with us, everybody, here on this Friday edition of Gulfstream Park West today. We begin, Ronnie, a holiday weekend with 4 consecutive cards right here at Gulfstream West.
Yeah, we'll be running Monday afternoon, Columbus Day, so it should be a lot of fun as everything. We got a nice carryover in the Rainbow Six today, and there you see our slate. So post time is noon, and the North 10th area is open for simulcast and wagering. So if you want to come out, go to the North 10th area, and you can join us here on Columbus Day.
Absolutely. All the simulcasting action from around the country, including over at Gulfstream Park, our likely 9-race card here at GPW, and that is a program that will be drawn this afternoon. We've got back-to-back 9-race programs on both Saturday and Sunday. We've got 5 races, in fact, waiting in the wings in today's $100,000 guaranteed Stronach 5. It is East meets West, literally, in this one, as Gulfstream West here at Miami Gardens. We do the opening leg honors at about 4 p.m. Eastern. Couple of races from Laurel, and then it's out to the West Coast with Santa Anita Park and Golden Gate Fields. And there is a lot of quality, Ronnie, and turf racing to go around in the sequence today.
Yeah, 4 turf races. Laurel has 2, Santa Anita and Golden Gate Fields. And Laurel, those 2 races, 7 and 8 are both stakes races. So lots of quality in there. And, of course, only that 12% takeout.
And that 6-figure 100K guarantee is a popular number on the afternoon. Here we've got on our 8-race Friday program, 100 large waiting for you in that Jackpot Rainbow Six, which will get underway in race number 3. And that third race is a cross-section, no doubt about it, because the early pick 5 runs right through that. And I've got a 3-horse spread in the third. Now, in the 4th race today, I built this play around the 6 Avuncular. And Ronnie and I were just talking before the show began, and we're both in the camp of that Ken Sweezy trained filly who unequivocally is the most talented, gifted horse in the race. I guess the question is, can she transfer that very good turf form back to the main? If she does, and I think there's a good likelihood she will, she's probably just a little too good, much like Kent's Lake Parima yesterday. So a $27 play built around Avuncular is going to be a clear favorite in the 4th. Now, this first race, as we start the card, Ronnie, at 12:05 Eastern at 7.5 furlongs on the turf, is for the most part, kind of a guessing game type 2-year-old filly, $25,000 to $20,000 maiden claimer. I mean, simply put, it's a field mostly dominated by first-time starters, and a number of these horses, however, are bred for turf, including your top pick, the 5 Patroness, English Channel, Street Boss, debuting for Armando de la Cerda.
Yeah, debuting for Armando. I want to show you a stat with Armando with his 2-year-olds, first-time starters on the turf. Not many, but he does a good job. 3 for 14, 21%, 43% in the money, and a $7.08 return of investment. And more importantly, Jason, I like the breeding on this one. I just saw English Channel, as you mentioned, Street Boss, Smash, Street Smoke. I was going to go there. And, of course, Embassy El Jaramillo. Can't go wrong with him in the saddle.
No, you definitely can. I'm next door, meanwhile, with the hard-spun filly in the number 6 spin class. I've liked, and a lot of people have, trainer Tim Ham this season, especially with his crop of 2-year-olds, and wishing him and, of course, his 2-year-old filly, day out of the office, nothing but the best of luck and a safe trip in the Grade 1 Frizette at Belmont Park tomorrow. She has not run since winning that opening day Schuylerville at Saratoga, and she, of course, is a Gulfstream Park graduate. In the case of spin class, I tend to prefer the hard spuns on the turf. First fall out of a dam, only ran twice, but did win on synthetic, and then down on the rail, I think completing the big 3 as it stands on paper. You've got the Maker Firster in the 1 Serenade Kitten, who's just got the top connections and is probably going to be favored for no other reason other than you've got Maker and Edgard.
Yeah, I got a series of stamina-enhancing 5-furlong workouts. It's Edgard, it's Mike Maker, as you mentioned, probably going to be the fave.
A lot of speed yesterday on the main track. 4 dirt races. 3 of them were won wire-to-wire, and 3, in fact, by inside speed horses, and 2 of which, in Advanced Cash and Bajangur, were by more or less, I think, in my humble opinion, I've watched a lot of races over the years, by almost those exaggerated margins. And that being said, as we move on to the opening dirt race on this Friday card, going a mile in the second race, which is a $10,000 3-and-up maiden claimer, I think who is where early is going to be most important. And you, in fact, may have not only the horse to beat, but more importantly, I think, the inside speed in the 1 Excalibur, who's in for the 10,000 and is likely going to take a step forward today for Arundel.
Yeah, drop stretches out to the mile. First race since returning from about a 6-month layoff to finish that screw-tightening 6 against those 20 maidens going 7 furlongs across town. Juan Alvarado, as you mentioned, Edgar Zayas handling the drop down in competition. Thought that was a logical player in there.
No, the inside's been good, and that early speed has been the best weapon of all. Now, perhaps the 3 Signified stretches out. I mean, Luca rode this track flawlessly in the last race yesterday and was aboard that Larry Bates filly and got the aggressive ride, and he sent hard, and she wound up paying over $50 for the win. You do have a situation, though, where the 3 Signified and maybe the 2 Imperial Greatness both gun early. And if that happens, maybe my horse, the 9 Skyline View, can finally graduate in Lifetime Start 21. I really feel this horse seemed to turn a corner despite being a professional maiden, a 3-back. And his races 3 and 2 back were both very good. He didn't fire last time out. I'm going to give him one more chance here, hoping the 21st time is the charm in race number 2. As we take a little breather here on the broadcast, and the boys in blue will be back after this with the Rainbow in just a second.
In the 2 path. Ground on first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 yards out. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Opening Friday of the fall season here at GPW. Welcome back. Second act on this live Friday edition of Gulfstream Park West today. Jason and Ronnie with all of you as, again, we gear up and we're about 45 minutes away from the first of 8 locally, yet that Friday nightcap, Ronnie, our 8th and final race, it'll be a popular cross-section, back end of the Rainbow 6, the late pick 5, and of course the opening leg in today's $100,000 guaranteed Stronach 5. And with Largent running as probably a 1-to-5 shot in that second leg at Laurel Park, I thought it'd be interesting to just fire out this poll. And in summing up the Stronach 5, my question is, will you single the classy Largent, who is 2-to-5 on the morning line, in that 7th race at Laurel? What do you think, Ronnie? You're putting in a ticket. Do you just single him and put all your eggs in one basket?
Well, I mean, you would think so because a couple of the other legs in that thing are very wide open. So if you feel that way about Largent, and apparently the people say he's vulnerable, 52% to 48%, with just a couple of votes now, it's certainly going to pick up as it gets closer, and we'll see how it plays out. I think you might want to single Largent.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I really took a liking to him over the winter meet, and maybe he hasn't had the summer campaign I would have envisioned when he left here following, I think he ran in the month of April and was a big favorite. But I like him. I think he's a horse that still has a little untapped potential. And I just read, by the way, as a side note, and Todd Pletcher will be running horses here locally at GPW throughout this Columbus Day weekend. He is on the cusp of 5,000 career winners. I think only 7 other trainers have accomplished that feat.
Well, certainly he'll do it this. I don't know how far he is, but he'll certainly do it at the chip.
Yesterday, he was 15 away from 5,000.
Well, but he'll be doing it at this meet here or at the championship meet, so that's for sure. So he's excellent trainer and a nice guy, too.
Yeah, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's eligible for induction in 2021, in fact. Rainbow 6, meanwhile, begins in our 3rd. We're back on the turf. And the one, I think, real complicating trade of this race as we check out your ticket, The horse to beat, Cactus Kitten, got no issue with him, but man, post 11 on this turf course going a mile, I see you did not single him, I'm assuming because he is marooned all the way outside.
That's exactly it. And I also used Josefa the 5 and 2 a little bit good in there. And you went 3 deep in there. In race number 4, I think you can't go wrong. Like you said, with Avuncular on there for Ken Sweezy. He's been doing a good job, the sort of Uncle Mo. But I also used Raspberry Ballet. 5th race had me a little bit of a head scratcher for me, so I went 5 deep in there. I like the 12 in there, too, a first-time starter, but because the 12, I used a couple from Safi Joseph Jr. and one from Steve Clisaris. In race number 6, Our Prerogative, I like that horse today, not the single, and then Midtown Rose I'm also using. Race number 7, 2 deep with Canthero's Image, my little bit of a long shot today. I think 6-1 on the morning line.
That's a good race, by the way.
Yeah, once
Real
again,
good race.
our man Joe, post 12. Another one that's got to deal with that post. And I think French Quarter is the one to beat in the nightcap along with Chase Runner.
Yeah, he's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, that French Quarter is like a top 5 of my current favorite horses in South Florida. He is an amazing, soon-to-be 10-year-old. He's 9. He's won a gazillion races, and he'll be favored once again. Ronnie's best bet on the card and one of a couple that he has cashing out, hopefully, a winning $38.40 Rainbow Six ticket. Yet, as you size up this third race field, most talented horse is probably the number 12 Cactus Kitten, but that post outside, it's a difficult place to begin.
Well, you're going to step up to face the winners today and cork that 4-ride rally last time out to defeat 12-5 Maidens as the 4-5 favorite that day going the mile across town. The obvious concern, as you just mentioned, for this Mike Maker, Edgar Zayas collaboration is that always daunting outside post. Josefa, who we have on top of your ticket, I think this one can run well this afternoon.
Well, she's just down in class this afternoon in for the 10-5 and has good positional speed. I mean, by the way, speaking of wire-to-wire speed doing well on the main. We had 3 turf races here yesterday, Ronnie. All 3 of them were 1 wire-to-wire, in fact, and she's got early speed.
Yeah, I always like speed on this turf course, especially early on during the meeting. So we got speed on the inside and speed on the outside today.
And we've got a very speedy favorite in the form of Avuncular as we move on to Friday's 4th race, and we kick off the late pick 5. And, again, I think there is a pretty apparent ability edge and overall just talent edge on paper. The question is, can my single and on an $18 late pick 5, can she get back on the dirt this afternoon and get it done in her 7th lifetime start? I'm giving her the affirmative vote of confidence and don't have anything too out of this world on this ticket, although in race number 7 this afternoon, and as I was saying when Ronnie was going over his Rainbow Six, I like that field a lot. I think the 9 Sassy But Smart is 12-1 on the morning line, and I wrote about that horse in my analysis today. We're going to see his last out performance. He's a price horse that I think is worth including or at least giving a second look if you didn't like him at first blush. He ran exceptionally well, I think, last time out. More on him in a second. But, I mean, again, as we start things, Ronnie, it's all about Avuncular, who I think, although she's probably just a flat-out better horse on the turf, you do have that safety net from a confidence standpoint where you got to go back to the summer right around 4th of July of 2019, but at least she ran fine on the dirt first time out, and I drew a line through her only other dirt race where she broke poorly here in early March of 2020 for Christoph.
Yeah, she finished second in her career debut, as you mentioned, up at Belmont. Returns to the dirt. Really consistent campaign on the turf for Ken Sweezy, daughter of Uncle Mo. Going to stretch out to 6.5. How good has Angel Arroyo been going for Ken Sweezy and on his own? He's just done incredible. So I think that's the one to beat.
No, Angel, I tweeted out yesterday. I think he's already got 6 wins this meeting. He's had a couple of multi-win days, including, I think, Wednesday is when he won the 3. And Ken's picked up back-to-back wins on both Wednesday and Thursday. Good guy, good trainer, and former assistant to Jimmy Jerkins, and he's likely going to be odds-on looking for that 3rd victory of the meet along with Angel with Avuncular. The 5th race is a similar, I think, overall sentiment to the 1st, where you just don't have any, for the most part, prior turf form to sink your teeth into yet, but like the 1st race, you've got a number of high-profile barns in the mix, including a couple of first-time starting fillies for Safi, and I am all Safi in this race, guessing with the 2 to a T. who sold for good money as a 2-year-old by Uncaptured. I mean, that's a lot. 100K is a lot. And all 6 siblings are multiple winners out of this dam, who is by Smart Strike. Dam's 19. She's a little up there, but she's been a prolific producer of quality. And you're obviously going to the other savvy horse who does have Edgard. And I did note that Edgard, who knows if he had a choice to ride both, but again, he is on. A fact of the matter is he's riding the 7 Mission Possible. Was that in the end, maybe the straw that swayed you in the direction of that one?
And I also like the consistent work tab on both turf and dirt, so getting ready for this one to run on the turf. But I want to talk real quickly about the number 12 Lioness of Brittany, her daughter of Anchordown, debuting for owner-trainer Steve Cliceres. So I was interested. I didn't think he started that many 2-year-olds, and I was right. But watch, 2-year-olds, first-time starters, maiden special weight on the turf. He's 2 for 4, 50%, 75% in the money, 10.55 is the return of investment. The reason I wanted to show it, you just don't expect this barn to have 2-year-old first-time starters, maiden special weight on the turf. But when he does it exceptionally well.
Got a price idea as well. I had noted Sassy But Smart and totally whiffed on the fact that I included the 10 Air Cavalry in my try and on my late pick 5 ticket. And, you know, you don't know. She's a little tough to gauge, or at least have confidence in, maybe 100% confidence, because didn't get bet first out and just completely stopped and was a well-beaten 12th and a cast of 12. Yet I do like the fact that race she's coming out of, even though, again, she was beaten long ways, I like that race has been live, and we can check out the chart of that monorail race. That was the opener back on August 8th. You've had 3 next out winners, including a maiden special weight winner in Marvelous Marlene, who may be a stakes horse, in fact, for Steve Dwoskin. She's okay. A maiden special winner at Ellis Park who came back, and, of course, Jaffa won from here over to Gulfstream Park when, I mean, she won that maiden 40 by about 15 lengths. So that's been a good race, and she might be a horse who is worth a bit of a stab, or at least a little bit of an inclusion there. Air Cavalry at a big price there for Matt O'Connor. 6th race is solid. This will go as our Friday featured 6th race. And, you know, off the bat, you've got your top pick down on the rail, I think, is the horse to beat in the 1R Prerogative. And here she is last time out, beating an easier field. And it's funny, I find there are a number of shared parallels between both the 1R Prerogative and the 3 Midtown Rose, who's going to be a major player today for Sappy. Because both these fillies, in fact, Ronnie, the race we're looking at, our Prerogative was in for the quarter, and nobody saw fit to jump in. She was a big favorite, and she's obviously pretty good, and she's back with Georgina this afternoon, and off this win 84 days ago, seems just like a major player here from the rail.
Yeah, we'll show you where Saturday. You see the horse crossing the wire first with Georgina with a layoff of 61 to 180 days sprints on the dirt. She's 14 for 41, 34%, 66% in the money. 220 is the return investment, and that's just over the past couple of years. So she knows how to get him ready off the bench, and we'll see how our Prerogative runs this afternoon. I like the horse that he's been freshened up, and Midtown Rose, as you mentioned, turning back to 3/4 of a mile, drew clear to defeat those 25 condition claimers, going 6.5 for Sappy. He's really good winning consecutive races. He's good doing everything, so I put that one in second.
Yeah, it's funny. Again, Midtown Rose and our Prerogative both entered for 25 in a claimer. They were both 4 to 5 and no takers in the claim box, and they return for their respective connections and are just a good fit in this race. This is it for me in the 4 Sonar. I didn't have her when she won her 2020 debut and legitimately showed up with a powerful, strong effort in mid-July and paid around $40 in the process. I've liked her subsequently in her 2 races following that July 15th score, and I'm going into this fully admitting this is a fork-in-the-road race. We're going to find out today whether Sonar is more or less kind of a one-hit wonder, or whether that first race was legitimately solid and she can revert back to it. Because I come out of her last 2, despite liking her, hoping that 2 back a mile was just a bit too far. And last time out, chasing Corey Gow in the slop. Maybe she didn't like the wet track. One more chance for the 4 Sonar this afternoon. And I think if she's as good as she was here in mid-July, she could be every bit as talented as our Prerogative Midtown Rose. I like her for a mild upset in the 6th. The seventh race might be a highlight today, and we'll get right back to trainer Georgina Baxter with the number 12, Our Man Joe. Now, this horse with the scratch of the 5, Shoshone Brave, now goes from stall number 11 in the starting gate. We're going to look, and I feel like this is not only an important last-out victory, but it's a very relative race because Our Man Joe, and I pulled the replay from here, I wanted to show that he basically displayed a new dimension, Ronnie. I mean, this has been a fairly speed-crazy type turf sprinter by Cantharos, but he rated comfortably beneath Joe Trejos in mid-pack and only grinded out the win and drove clear in deep stretch. That versatility and the fact that he showed he could rate a little bit and sit off horses, that may serve him well this afternoon, given just how far outside he is. If he can't make the lead from out there, maybe you just try to take a bit of a hold and save as much ground as you possibly can, because he showed again that he will relax and he will sit.
Well, that's exactly what they did last time. That was an outside post he broke from last time. It was post 10. He was the number 11 horse, but it was post 10. And he did. He couldn't get the lead, so he tracked and he won. I think he's the best horse in the race. I did try and get a little cute in there with Cantharos Image, who's making it the first start. Since a consistent 3-race sprint campaign last fall includes a Comferheim score going 5 on this course for Steve Cluceres. Hector Berrios getting a little bit of a price. I think he's 5 or 6 to 1. But I want to hear about Sassy But Smart, who closed a ton last time
He
out.
was really good last time, and I felt as though may have showed a new dimension. This was a horse that had overachieved in the Palm Beach here on the Fountain of Youth undercard, and the race we're looking at, his Gulfstream finale for the summer meet, was run at a time where speed was very good. I mean, you could even look at the 8 Henry's World, who was almost 20 to 1, who did not stop, and nobody gained an inch of ground in this race, and that goes for even the runner-up, or I should say the winner, who was the runner-up for the majority of that running in Legendary Prince. And I felt as though from being so far back, Sassy But Smart really ran a very solid race and maybe tipped his hand in the process that he wants to be more or less a 5-furlong turf sprinter. I'm going to take him from off the pace at a good little 7th, no doubt about it, our turf finale. And we'll close things out. We got to give in the 8th race, which starts the 100K guaranteed Stronach 5. I mean, we got to give some props and some love with French Quarter, sending it his way. 69 race veteran, 15 wins, including this victory last time out on August 20th. Bounces around from one barn to another, and I mean, just always seems to hit hard. He's an amazing, amazing, amazing horse, and one of my favorite horses currently racing on this circuit.
Yeah, you know you're always going to get a good performance from him. It doesn't matter which barn, as you said, he's in. So I'm expecting him to run exceptionally well this afternoon. And that the race here is the kickoff of the Stronach 5. So don't forget that. You'll use French Quarter. I think you have to.
Couple of scratches in the race if he is vulnerable today, because I guess, you know, trying to be thorough, you always, I think, it should be in the back of your mind, as much of a gem as he's been in the consistency department. At times, some of these lower-level claimers may not fire a big race. If that happens, I guess you're in the same direction I am, or corner I am, and looking at the 2 Chase Runner, who maybe found the mile, although he's been long in the past. Maybe it was a combination of the mile and him being a little over his head last time out.
Yeah, you know, he had that track and fade 5th against those 10-5 claimers. That was going a mile, as you mentioned, for Bobby DeBona, who's really good with the route to sprint angle. He's about 38% just over the last 6 to 7 months. So I think that horse, when I put the ticket together for the Stronach 5, I actually used French Quarter and Chase Runner on my ticket.
And he'll have Alberto Burgos from post number 2 as we take a little breather here on this edition of Gulfstream Park West today. Up to Pete Aiello for those scratches and changes.